Chapter 1. I won't do it. I can't. Elena's eyes snapped open in the dark. Her sister's voice was a knife, sharp and terrified. Raya was sitting bolt upright on her thin mattress, her small body trembling under the moonlight. The drafty air in their small room in the Lowtown did that. It made everything cold. Raya? What are you talking about? Elena sat up, her own bones aching. Go back to sleep. The ceremony is tomorrow. You need your rest. No. Raya's voice cracked, and it sounded too loud in the quiet. I mean it, Elena. I'm going to run. Run. The word hit Elena like a stone. No. Don't you ever say that word, Elena hissed. She threw off her blanket and was across the floor in a second. Her hands gripped Raya's shoulders. They were so small. Don't even think about it. But I love him, Raya sobbed, fat tears rolling down her pale cheeks. Kaelen, he's waiting for me. We're leaving tonight. Elena's stomach turned to ice. Kaelen, a low-ranking warrior, sweet and stupidly brave. Listen to me, Raya. You can't. Elena's voice was rough. She had to make her understand. You know the law. The mating ceremony is sacred. To run, it's not just running away, it's treason. But no buts. Elena shook her gently. Treason. Do you know what the Alpha King does to traitors? Raya just cried harder. Deep down, she knew the truth. Everyone did. Stories of the Alpha King's justice were told to pups to scare them. His justice was cold. It was final. And Elena's whole life was built around protecting this girl. When their parents died, Elena became her shield. When there wasn't enough food, Elena was the one who went hungry. When Raya was too shy to speak, Elena was her voice. This was the one thing she couldn't protect her from. He will kill you, Raya, or worse. He's just one man. Elena almost laughed. It was a cold, sharp sound. He's not a man. He is the Alpha King. They say he can smell a lie. They say he's never known mercy, not since his father's weak reign almost destroyed this pack. That's why the law was so hard, because Alpha King Kaelen would never be called weak. Please, Raya whimpered. Elena, don't make me go. I'm scared of him, of the ceremony. What if I'm chosen by someone awful? Elena's chest ached. She pulled Raya into a hug, her own weariness settling over her like a shroud. She smoothed her sister's hair. I know you're scared. She was too. But you just have to be invisible. That's our plan, remember? Elena whispered, forcing her voice to be calm. We stand in the back. We keep our eyes down. We are the gray mice in the stone wall. She held Raya, rocking her. No one will see us. I promise. Raya's sobs softened just a little. You promise? I promise. Elena let her hold on to that lie, because she had no other choice. She didn't know what scared her more, the Alpha King, or the look in Raya's eyes that said she might still be stupid enough to run. Elena didn't sleep. She just watched the moon move across the floor and prayed for the sun to stay away. But the sun always rises. Chapter 2. Come morning, the air in the citadel was thick. You could taste it. It tasted like fear and ozone and something else, something wild, power. The great plaza was packed. Thousands of wolves, all in their human forms, crowded the cold stones. Elena kept a grip on Raya's hand. It was slick with sweat. Keep your head down, Elena murmured, pulling her sister closer. They were in the back, just like she planned. Squeezed between a baker's family and some other low-town omegas, they were invisible, gray mice. But then a hush fell over the crowd. It didn't just get quiet. The air went still. As if the world narrowed, every sound, every breath was sucked into a void. And then he appeared. Alpha King Kaelen. He stood on the high dais, and he was everything the stories said. He was not a man. He was a storm held in a man's shape. Tall, broader than any two warriors, with black hair pulled back from a face that looked carved from the mountain stone. He wore no crown, he didn't need one. His eyes scanned the crowd. Elena felt that gaze like a physical touch, a cold, heavy hand pressing down on her. She forced her eyes to the stones. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Beside her, Raya was trembling so hard Elena thought her teeth would break. It's okay, Elena whispered. We're almost through this. He's just terrifying. King Kaelen raised one hand. The silence was total. Today, his voice boomed. It wasn't a shout, but it hit the back wall of the plaza. Deep, powerful. We honor the moon. We honor the bond. We secure the future of this pack. A howl rose from the warriors. Elena flinched. All unmated females, Kaelen's voice dropped. Present yourselves to the goddess. This was it, the part Elena feared. But nothing happened. They just had to stand there. Wait. Be invisible. Elena let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. It was working. They were fine. But then a small movement. To her right. Elena's head snapped up. No. Across the plaza, near a side gate, a flash of brown hair, a guard's uniform. Kaelen. He looked right at Raya. He lifted his chin. A tiny, desperate signal. Now. Raya's breath caught. Raya, no. Elena's voice was dead. Raya's eyes were wide, full of stupid, hopeless love. She didn't know what scared her more, the king, or losing Kaelen. And she made her choice. Between one breath and the next, Raya tore her hand from Elena's grasp. Raya! She was running. A tiny, stupid girl running across the sacred plaza during the mating ceremony. A collective gasp rose from the crowd. Treason. Two of the king's guards, huge, scarred alphas, moved so fast they were blurs. They weren't running to Raya. They were running to Kaelen. But two others they turned toward Raya. No, please, Elena whispered. She saw the king on the dais. His face didn't change. He just watched. His cold, dark eyes followed her sister. He'll kill her. He will make an example of her. He will kill her right here. My sister. My baby sister. Her body moved on instinct. Elena didn't even think. She just ran. She shoved past the baker. She pushed through a group of warrior females. She was faster than Raya. She had to be. She grabbed Raya by the waist just as the guards were closing in. Elena threw her sister behind her. Raya fell to the stones, sobbing, and Elena stood alone, facing the guards, facing the dais, facing the king. The plaza was dead silent, except for Raya's crying. Elena stood there, her chest heaving, her hands fisted at her sides. She met the Alpha King's gaze, and just like that, everything changed. She wasn't invisible anymore. Chapter 3. The silence stretched. It felt like a year. Elena's heart pounded so hard she thought it would break her ribs. She was standing in the middle of the great plaza, in front of thousands, and she had just confessed to treason, all to save Raya. She kept her eyes locked on the king. Don't look at Raya. Don't look at her. Don't let him see. King Kaelen stood on the dais. He hadn't moved. His face was stone. But his eyes burned into her. Deep down, she knew the truth. He knew. The stories were true. He could smell the lie she told to protect her sister. She could see it in the way his jaw tightened. He knew she was lying, and he was going to punish her anyway. Maybe it was fate. Maybe this was always going to happen. No! Raya screamed from the ground. Elena, no! She's lying! It was me! I did it! Elena flinched. Shut up, Raya. Please, shut up. The king's gaze, it didn't even flicker to Raya. It stayed on Elena. He took one step forward, to the edge of the dais. You? His voice was a rumble. A predator's growl. Claim this treason? You, a low-town female, planned this disruption? You who stands here reeking of a lie to protect her? He knew everything. Elena's throat was dry, but her voice came out strong, defiant. She is my sister. That was all she said, because that was the only answer that mattered. A murmur went through the crowd. Kaelen's expression changed. It wasn't anger. It was something else. Something cold. Respect? No. It was colder than that. It was judgment. Loyalty? He said, his voice flat. A noble trait wasted on a traitor. He turned his head, just slightly. You broke the sacred law during the sacred rite. You claim this act. You will take the punishment. Elena's breath caught. The law is absolute. This was it. You will be flogged, he declared. The words hit the air like hammers. Here, now, as an example. Raya's scream was a thin, terrible sound. No, Elena! Take her, the king commanded. Before she could move, the guards were on her. They released Raya, who crumpled to the stones a sobbing heap. Strong, brutal hands grabbed Elena's arms. They were too strong. She felt her bones grind. They weren't gentle. They didn't just walk her. They dragged her toward the center of the plaza, where a single dark stone post stood. Her feet scraped on the ground. She looked back one last time at her sister. Raya's face was a blur of terror. It's okay, Elena thought. You're safe. That's all that mattered. As they tied her hands to the cold iron ring, Elena looked back at the dais, at the king. He was walking down the steps, and he was rolling up his sleeves. Chapter 4. No, Elena's blood went cold. It wasn't a guard. It wasn't an executioner. He was going to do it. Alpha King Kaelen was going to punish her himself. The crowd saw it too. A gasp, a wave of shock rippled through them. The king never did this. That's why he was so feared. He was a king, but he was a warrior first. He stopped a few feet behind her. Elena stared at the stone post. Her hands were tied high, pulling her arms, stretching her back. She heard the hiss of the whip as he uncoiled it. She heard Raya's desperate, choked sobs. Don't scream. That was her only thought. Don't you dare scream. Don't give him the satisfaction. She would not be broken. She squeezed her eyes shut. She held her breath. The air cracked and then fire. White-hot blinding ripped across her back. Elena's body was seized. A sound, a gasp was torn from her throat. But she didn't scream. She bit her lip. Hard. She tasted her own blood. She heard his footsteps. He was walking, pacing behind her. And then crack. The second lash. It hit the same spot. It tore deeper. Ah! Her knees buckled, but the ropes held her up. No, I won't. She could feel his eyes on her back. She could feel the weight of his stare. He was waiting for her to beg, to cry, to break. Never. Crack. The third lash. Her vision went gray at the edges. The pain was too much. It was everything. Crack. 4. She was trembling, shaking so hard. Crack. 5. She wasn't strong enough. Her legs, they were gone. Crack. 6. A low, animal sound, a whimper left her lips. She hated it. She hated him. And just like that, something inside her shifted. The pain, it was still there. But fury, cold and pure, rose up to meet it. He struck again. 7. She threw her head back, and she growled. It wasn't a human sound. It was low and broken, but it was hers. Kaelen stopped. The silence in the plaza was roaring. Elena panted, her head hanging. Blood was running down her back, down her legs, pooling at her feet. She had done it. She had survived. But then he moved. She heard his boot on the stone. He grabbed her hair and yanked her head back. Her eyes blurry with tears met his. He was close. Too close. His face was furious, but it was confused. Who are you? He breathed. His voice was a low snarl, and then her strength was gone. Her knees gave out. The ropes tore at her wrists, but her body was too heavy. Just like that, she collapsed. She hit the cold stones, hard. The world tilted. She was lying in a pool of her own blood. The sacred ceremonial stones were stained red. And then, as the wind shifted, something changed. The air, it thickened. The smell of her blood, it mixed with the ozone. And it rose. Elena, half-conscious, looked up. King Kaelen was frozen. His eyes were fixed on her blood. His nostrils flared. His head snapped up and his eyes locked on hers. They weren't dark anymore. They were gold, bright, burning wolf eyes. He dropped the whip. He took one shaky step toward her. As if the world narrowed a jolt, a shock hit Elena. It felt like a string pulling from her chest to his. The moment their eyes locked, he knew. She felt it. His wolf was staring at her wolf. Mate. The word, it wasn't spoken. It was an explosion. The Alpha King, the man who just flogged her, who broke her. He stared at her blood, and his face, it was horror. No, he whispered. Elena saw his shocked face, the golden eyes, pure terror, and then the world went black. Chapter 5. Pain. It was the first thing. A dull, searing fire. It bloomed across her back, hot and deep. Elena's mind. It was foggy, swimming up from the blackness. She heard a sound, a crackle, like a fire, and she smelled pine, and something else, something clean, like herbs. It wasn't the smell of the Lowtown. It wasn't cabbage or dust or sweat. Where? Her eyes, they felt so heavy. So heavy. Her heart skipped. She forced them open. The world. It was soft, blurry. She wasn't on the stone plaza. She wasn't on her thin straw cot. She was in a bed. A real bed. With silk? Silk sheets cool against her burning skin. Her thoughts spun. She looked around. The room was huge. Carved stone walls, a thick fur rug on the floor, and a fireplace. The fire that was the crackling sound. This was the high court. Panic. She tried to move. I tried to sit up. Ah! A white-hot spike of agony shot up her back. It stole her breath. She wasn't just in bed. She was bandaged. Tightly. Her entire back, her shoulders felt wrapped. Without warning, a voice came from the shadows. Don't move. Elena froze. That voice. She knew that voice. The deep, rumbling power of it. It was him. Her eyes shot to the corner of the room, as if the world narrowed. He was there. Alpha King Kaelen. He was sitting in a tall wooden chair hidden in the shadows watching her. He wasn't in his ceremonial armor. He was just in a simple black shirt. His sleeves were rolled up. His hair was messy. He looked exhausted. And his eyes, she could see them even in the dark. They were gold. The wolf was still watching her. Her breath caught. The memory, it came rushing back. The whip, the pain, the blood on the stones. And that look. That jolt. Mate. Where? Elena's voice was a dry, broken whisper. Where am I? He stood up. God, he was so big. He filled the room, sucked all the air out. You are in my chambers, he said. His voice was rough, raw. He sounded guilty, good. Elena's fear, it was still there. But fury, her old, cold friend, came bubbling up. My sister, she managed. Her only thought. Raya, where is my sister? She tried to push herself up again. Pain, it blinded her, but she didn't care. What did you do to her? Kaelen's face, it hardened. Just like that, the exhausted man was gone and the king was back. She is safe, he said, his voice flat. For now. For now? Elena cried. What does that mean? She did nothing. It was me. Be still, he commanded. And his voice, it had that power that Alpha command. Her body wanted to obey. Her wolf pressed forward. No, she wouldn't. She glared at him, trembling with pain and hate. Kaelen looked pained. He ran a hand over his face. You don't understand, he muttered. What you did, what I did? He couldn't even say it. Before the words left her lips, he looked right at her. His golden eyes, they were agonized. The moon, he whispered. The goddess, she played a cruel, terrible joke. He took a step closer to the bed. Elena flinched. The blood, your blood on the sacred stones. He looked at her like she was the ghost, like she was the nightmare. You the girl, the criminal, the one I flogged? Her world tilted. His voice broke. You are my mate. Chapter 6. No. The word was a silent scream. Elena just stared at him. No. 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 No, she whispered. Her voice was shaking. That's not possible. It is, he said. His voice was raw. In the quiet that followed, Elena's hatred, it felt like a shield. I reject it, she spat. Pain shot through her, but she didn't care. I reject you. A growl rose in her throat. She felt it, the bond, that stupid, invisible string. When she said reject, it pulled. It burned. A new pain deep in her chest. Kaelen winced. He felt it, too. You can't, he growled. He started to pace, like a caged lion. It doesn't work like that, not for an Alpha King. I don't care, Elena shouted, her voice breaking. You don't understand, he roared back. He slammed his fist on a wooden table. Do you have any idea what you have done? What have I done? She screamed, her voice raw with tears. You mutilated me. You beat me in front of everyone. You bled, he shouted. He was desperate. You bled on the mating stones. During the rite. Your blood, our blood, it activated the bond. In front of everyone. Elena stared. What did that mean? This was world building. The rule she didn't know. Kaelen saw her confusion. He tried to calm down. A normal bond, it can be hidden, he explained, his voice tight. But a bond sealed by blood on the stones, it is a proclamation, from the goddess herself. He looked at her. It cannot be ignored. To make things worse, he looked away, toward the fire. My elders, they are furious. This was the new reality. They know. The whole pack knows that my fated mate is a criminal. He said the word like poison. A traitor. So what? Elena whispered. Let me go. I won't be your taint. Just let me and Raya go. We'll disappear. I can't, he snapped. He was in front of her bed in the span of a breath. He leaned down. With his scent in the air, pine and her blood, he smelled like her pain. I can't let you go, he whispered. I can't reject you. Why? She pleaded. Because of your stupid laws? His golden eyes, they looked broken. No, he whispered. His voice, it was awful. Because of this. He so gently touched his own chest. Because the joke, it's worse than I said. What are you talking about? Her voice trembled. Kaelen closed his eyes. Because I am the Alpha King, my bond, it's total. He opened his eyes. When you feel pain, he choked on the words. I feel it too. Elena's, her heart stopped. The flogging, he whispered. Every lash, I felt it. I've been feeling it all night. That was the twist. He had punished himself. Oh, goddess. Her thoughts spun. But Raya. My sister, she panted, pushing past the shock. You said, for now. Kaeden the warrior. What happened to them? Kaelen's face, it slammed shut. The king was back. Cold. Hard. They are in the dungeons, he said, his voice like ice. Awaiting my judgment. No, Elena pleaded. No, you can't. It was me. I told you, he cut her off, are my mate. A problem the elders want me to solve. He looked at her, his face unreadable. But they, he said, are traitors, and the law is clear. This was it. The test. Elena's mind raced. He felt her pain. He was tied to her. And he held Raya's life in his hands. She had the power now. Maybe. If, she whispered, her throat dry. If I don't reject you, if I accept this bond. She hated the words. Will you let them go? Kaelen stared at her. A long, hard silence. He saw it. Her strength. Her defiance. The same defiance he had punished her for. So, he whispered. His voice, it was almost admiring. Even now, after this, you sacrifice. Elena met his golden eyes. I protect my family. Kaelen didn't answer. He just looked at her. For forever. Then he turned. Heal, he commanded. His voice was rough, broken. Heal fast. As the silence roared, he walked to the door. We have much to discuss, he said, his back to her. And the elders, they will not wait long. Just like that, he was gone. The door clicked shut, leaving Elena alone, a prisoner in the king's own bed, her body broken, her sister's life hanging by a thread, and her soul tied to a monster. Her monster. Chapter 7. Her thoughts spun. She didn't know how long she was alone. Hours or maybe days. No, not days. Elena knew because she could feel her back. It wasn't a raw, open fire anymore. It was itching, a deep, pulling knitting sensation. Her bones remembered him. She hated it. With every heartbeat, she hated it more. This connection, this healing. It was too fast. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't understand it. It was unnatural. Was this his healing? His alpha power forcing her body to mend? As if pulled by a string, she reached over her shoulder. Her fingers, they brushed against the bandages. They were clean. Someone had changed them while she was asleep. Her stomach turned. Was it him? The thought, it made her skin crawl. Before she could move, the door opened. She flinched. Hard. And the pain, it flared. A ghost of real pain. Kaelen stood in the doorway. He was different. Not the broken, guilty man. Not the tortured mate. This was the king. His black shirt was gone, replaced by a dark leather tunic. His hair was pulled back. His face was hard. As if the world narrowed, he walked in. He was carrying a tray, food, bread and broth. He set it on the table by her bed. Elena just stared at him. "You need to eat," he said. His voice was flat. An order. Elena said nothing. She just glared. Kaelen sighed. He ran a hand over his face. The king faded. Just a little. "Elena, please." The please, it was almost worse than the command. "Why?" she whispered. Her voice was a rasp. "So I can be healthy when you hand me to your elders?" Kaelen's head snapped up. His eyes flashed gold. "Is that what you think?" he growled. "What else am I supposed to think?" She shot back. "You dragged me here. You're holding my sister and Kaden in a dungeon." "I am protecting you," he roared, and the power in his voice, it slammed into her. It made her wolf, her weak, tiny Omega wolf, want to cower. Never. "Protecting me?" She laughed. It was a cold, broken sound. "You flogged me. You scared me." "And I felt it," he shouted. He stepped closer, too close. "I felt every single strike, right here." He slammed his fist against his own chest. "Do you think I wanted this?" "I don't care what you want," Elena cried, pushing herself up on her elbows. Pain fire, it shot up her back. She gasped and fell back against the silk pillows. At that moment, Kaelen moved. Without thinking. He reached out. His hand, his huge, calloused hand, went to her shoulder, to steady her. The moment their eyes locked as fire bloomed beneath her skin. It happened. The bond. It didn't pull. It exploded. It wasn't just pain. It was everything. His fury, his guilt, his shame, and oh, goddess, his desire. It was burning, a raw, wild need. It hit her like a wave. Elena's breath caught. "Kaelen," he froze. His hand was on her bare shoulder. His thumb, it brushed gently against her skin. Her world tilted. "You feel that," he whispered. It wasn't a question. His golden eyes, they weren't looking at her face. They dropped to her lips. The space between them burned. "This is why," he breathed. His voice was thick. "It's tearing us both apart. Stop fighting it." Her voice trembled. "I hate you." "I know," he whispered. And his scent, pine and that wild wolf, it was everywhere. Her instinct surged. She wanted to lean into his touch. "What is happening to me?" He leaned closer. His face was just inches from hers. "It doesn't matter if you hate me," he murmured. The bond, it doesn't care. He was going to kiss her. He, the monster who her heart skipped. Just like that, a loud, hard knock on the chamber door. Bang, bang, bang. The tension broke. Kaelen jerked back, like he'd been burned. He growled, a low, furious animal sound. "What?" he roared at the door, a guard's voice muffled, terrified. "My king, forgiveness, but it's Lord Valerius." Kaelen shut his eyes. His whole body was tense. Her chest ached. "He demands an audience," the guard stammered. "He says the elders are waiting." Kaelen turned. He looked murderous. Elena, she was just trembling. Her skin, where he touched her, it was still on fire. Chapter 8. Kaelen looked trapped. His fury and her fear, it was all mixed up. He took a deep breath, and the king settled back over him. He looked at her under the weight of his stare. "Do not move," he commanded. "And do not speak." Before she could move, he pulled the silk sheet up, over her shoulder, covering her skin. Then he stalked to the door and tore it open. "Valerius." His voice was ice. The man, Lord Valerius, he was nothing like Kaelen. He was older, thin. His hair was silver and his robes were expensive. But his eyes were cold and smart. As if the forest watched, Valerius, he smiled. "My king," he said. His voice was smooth, like rotten silk. "Forgive this intrusion." He knew. He knew he was interrupting something. Deep down, she knew the truth. Valerius's cold eyes, they slid past Kaelen, and they landed right on her, on Elena, in the king's bed. His face, it twisted. Disgust. Pure, hateful disgust. "So," Valerius sneered. "The rumors are true." Kaelen, he moved. He blocked Valerius's view. A growl rose in her throat. His throat. "You overstep, Lord Valerius," Kaelen said. His voice was dangerously quiet. "I overstep?" Valerius, he laughed. A dry, hissing sound. "My king, the pack is panicked. You harbor a criminal in your sacred chambers. The traitor who defiled the mating rite. She," Kaelen's hands were fists. "She is under my protection." "Ah, protection," Valerius purred. "Or is it weakness?" Weakness, the same word they used for Kaelen's father. As the truth unraveled, Elena, she saw it. This wasn't just about her. The pack saw that the blood seal, Valerius, he pressed on, a curse from the goddess to test you. But to make things worse, they also saw the flogging. The law is clear, Kaelen. The bond must be broken. The girl must be executed. Elena's, her blood ran cold. Executed. You must reject her. Kaelen, he was shaking, with rage. You cannot tell me what I must do. I am telling you what the pack demands. Valerius, he snapped. Your father, his sentiment, his weakness, it nearly destroyed us. Will you do the same? All for this Omega trash? Something inside her shifted. The fear, it vanished. And fury, pure, ice-cold fury took its place. Before the words left her lips, Elena, she spoke. Her voice, it trembled, but it cut through the air. He can't reject me. The silence, it roared. Both men froze. They turned. They stared at her. Valerius? He smirked. Oh? And why is that little criminal? Elena, she pushed herself up. The pain, it screamed, but she ignored it. She met Valerius's cold eyes. She wouldn't tell him the secret. The pain bond. Never. She looked at Kaelen, and she saw the trap. Valerius, he was pinning him, her world tilted. This was the real game. He can't reject me, Elena, she said again, stronger. Because he won't. Valerius, he laughed. She has you on a leash, my king, he sneered. He looked at Kaelen. The council, it meets at sundown. We demand a choice. His voice, it dropped. The crown, he whispered. Or the criminal. You cannot have both. And just like that, he bowed and he left. Kaelen, he just stood there, his back to her. He was shaking. Elena, she realized the truth. Her leverage, Raya, it was gone. No, it was worse. This was bigger. His crown, his life. After a long minute, Kaelen, he turned. His face, it was stone. His golden eyes, they burned into hers. "Get up," he growled. "What?" "The broth. Drink it now." He walked to a closet. He tore it open. He pulled out a tunic, his tunic, and pants. He threw them on the bed. "You heard him, Kaelen," he snarled. "The council meets at sundown." "I can't," she whispered. "My back, I can't walk." He was in front of her. He grabbed her chin. His grip, it was hard. "You will," he whispered. His voice, it was terrifying. "You will walk in there on your own 2 feet. You are not my weakness, little Omega." His eyes, they blazed. "You are my mate. And tonight," he growled, "you are going to show them why." Chapter 9. Her thoughts spun. "You are my mate." His words, they hung in the stillness that followed. Sundown. "I can't," Elena whispered. She tried to move her legs, to swing them off the bed. Nothing, just pain, white-hot, searing fire. And just like that, she knew she was trapped. "You ask too much," she panted. Her back, it screamed. "I am asking nothing." "Kaelen," he snarled. He grabbed the broth. He shoved it at her. "You will do as I say." He was terrified. Deep down, she knew the truth. He wasn't mad at her. He was afraid of Valerius, afraid of losing his crown. To make things worse, her wolf, it whimpered. It wanted to obey him. Her hands, they shook. She grabbed the bowl. She drank. It was warm and salty. It burned a path down to her empty stomach. As the silence stretched, he watched her. His golden eyes, they never left her face. All of it," he commanded. She finished it. Immediately, she felt it. Warmth. A little tiny spark of strength. Not enough. "Now," he growled. "Get dressed." He pointed to the clothes. His clothes. "How?" she whispered. Her voice, it broke. "I can't move. I can't sit up." A beat later, Kaelen, he looked at the ceiling. He cursed the moon. "This is a farce," he muttered. Before she could move, he was there. He grabbed the sheet. "This will hurt," he warned. His voice, it was flat. "No, wait." He didn't wait. He pulled her up. "Ah!" A scream, it tore from her throat. Pain, it exploded behind her eyes. And he groaned. "Kaelen." He stumbled back. He clutched his own chest. His face, it was pale. The bond. He felt it. All of it. Her world tilted. "You," she panted, clutching her back. "You idiot, you felt that, didn't you?" "Get up," he gasped. He was breathing hard. "I hate you," she sobbed. Tears, hot, angry tears, they ran down her face. "I know," he snapped. "Get dressed." In the quiet that followed, they stared at each other. 2 animals, trapped in a cage. Finally, he moved. Slowly. He picked up his tunic. It was huge, black and soft. "Lift your arms," he muttered. She couldn't. With a growl, he did it for her. His hands, they were rough, calloused. But when his fingers, they brushed the bandages, his touch, it was gentle. Her breath caught. He eased the tunic over her head. His scent, it hit her. Pine and storm and wolf. It filled her lungs. Her wolf, it stirred. It liked his scent. No. He pulled it down. It fell to her thighs, like a dress, then the pants. He didn't look at her. He looked at the wall. He slid them up her legs. His knuckles, they grazed her skin. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, she hissed. He flinched. "I am done," he growled. He stood up. "Now walk." She looked at her feet. "I told you, you will walk," he snarled, his voice low. "Because if you don't, I will carry you." He leaned in. "And if I carry you in there, Valerius, he wins." His crown. Elena, she understood. She looked at his golden eyes. She took a breath. She swung her legs off the bed. Her feet, they hit the cold stone. She pushed. Pain, it screamed. But she stood. She swayed. Instantly, his hand, it was on her arm, holding her steady. She looked at his hand, and she didn't pull away. "Good," he grunted. Without another word, he started to walk, pulling her with him, to the council. Chapter 10. As the sky darkened, they walked. Every single step was hell. Elena, she leaned on him. She hated it. But she had to. Her bones remembered him. His strength, it held her up. They reached 2 massive wooden doors. The guards, they bowed. They opened them. Her heart skipped. The room, it was huge. A long, dark stone table. And elders. Dozens of them. Old, powerful alphas. They all looked up. The air thickened. Their eyes, they hit her. Hate. Cold, pure hate. And at the end of the table, Valerius. He was smiling. "Ah," he purred. "My king, you came." He looked at Elena, at her in Kaelen's clothes. His smile, it widened. "And you brought the criminal." Kaelen, he didn't speak. He pulled Elena to the head of the table, to his throne. He stayed standing. He pushed her into the chair beside it. A gasp went around the room. The queen's chair. "Kaelen." Valerius's, his voice. It lost its smile. It was ice. "What is this?" "This," Kaelen, he said. His voice, it boomed. "Is my mate." The silence, it roared. "She is a traitor," an elder, he shouted. "She is accused," Kaelen, he shot back. "The penalty is death." "Valerius," he snapped. He slid a piece of parchment down the table. It stopped right in front of Kaelen. An execution order. "The hour is here, Kaelen." "Valerius," he hissed. "Sign it. Reject her. Save your crown." Elena's, her breath, it stopped. This was it. Kaelen. He looked at the paper. Then he looked at Valerius. No. Between one breath and the next, the world stopped. Valerius, he just stared. "What did you say?" "I said no," Kaelen, he growled. "I will not reject my mate." "You dare? I am your king." Kaelen, he slammed his hands on the table. "And I will not sentence anyone until I have investigated this myself." He looked at Elena. Her heart, it ached. He was buying time. "Valerius." He stared. His cold eyes, they narrowed. Then he smiled. "I see," he whispered. "An investigation." He turned his eyes to Elena. "Then let's begin. Tell us, little Omega." His voice, it dripped with poison. "What spell did you use to cloud his mind?" Elena, she trembled. All eyes, they burned her. She looked at Kaelen. He needed her. This was her part. She gripped the chair. She used her one weapon. "I will say nothing," she whispered. Her voice, it shook, but it carried. "I will not speak," she looked at Kaelen, "until I know my sister Raya and Kaden are safe." She played her card. She thought she was smart. But then Valerius, he laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. "Oh, you poor stupid child," he purred. He leaned back. "Your sister?" He smiled. "Kaden, the warrior?" Her blood, it ran cold. "That leverage is gone." "Kaelen," he stiffened. "What are you talking about?" "While you were distracted," Valerius, he sneered, "playing nurse to your pet. The council, we held our own inquiry." No. The traitors Raya and Kaden, they confessed." "What?" Elena, she breathed. "They confessed to treason, to defiling the right." Valerius, he smiled. A slow, cruel smile. "The law is absolute." He looked at Kaelen. "And your power, Kaelen, it doesn't matter here." He looked at Elena. "They are to be executed." At dawn. Chapter 11. At dawn. The words, they just hung in the air. No. Elena's, her mind. It just stopped. No, she whispered. It wasn't a word. It was just air. "No, you can't," she didn't. "Valerius." He smiled. That awful snake smile. As the silence roared, Kaelen, he moved. It wasn't a step. It was an explosion. He lunged, not at Valerius, but at the table. He swept his arm across it. Goblets, papers, everything, it crashed to the stone floor. "You had no right," he roared. And his voice, it wasn't a man's voice. It was the Alpha. The room, it shook. The elders, they cowered. All except Valerius. "We had every right," Valerius, he said. His voice, it was calm, cold. The king was indisposed. The law, it does not wait for sentiment. "She confessed," Kaeden, he confessed. That is the law. I am the law. Kaelen, he snarled. No, Valerius, he whispered. And everyone heard it. The pack is the law, and the pack will not follow a king who is ruled by this, he pointed, at Elena. Her chest ached. She looked at Kaelen. Her only hope. Kaelen, she begged. Her voice, it was broken. Please do something. You're the king. Stop this. Kaelen. He looked at her. His golden eyes, they were burning. Wild. He looked at Valerius, and his face, it crumbled. He couldn't. Deep down, she knew the truth. He couldn't fight all of them. Not without starting a war. Not when they had a confession. Valerius, he saw it. The defeat. He smiled. Guards. Valerius, he called out. His voice, it was strong. Like a king's. 2 guards, they stepped in. Escort the king's mate back to his chambers, he ordered. She must rest before the execution. The insult. Elena. She felt Kaelen's rage. It spiked through the bond. But he didn't move. He was beaten. Without another word, he grabbed Elena's arm. He didn't wait for the guards. He pulled her up. The pain, it screamed. But this pain, it was worse. He dragged her out of the room. As the echo faded, she heard Valerius's voice. The council is adjourned until the dawn, when the traitors are dead. Chapter 12. The slam of his chamber door, it echoed. In the stillness that followed, there was nothing. Just the sound of Kaelen's breathing, ragged, harsh, broken. Elena. She slid down the door. She didn't care about the pain. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered. She landed on the cold stone floor, numb. Her sacrifice. It was for nothing, she whispered to the dark. All of it. The flogging, the shame, the bond, all for nothing. Raya was going to die. To make things worse, she heard him, pacing, back and forth, a lion, in a cage. You let him, Elena, she whispered. Her voice, it was dead. Kaelen, he stopped. You let him do this. There was nothing to do. He roared. He smashed his fist into the wall. The stone cracked. They had a confession. The law. The law? She screamed. She looked up at him, tears burning her eyes. The law? Raya, she is 16 years old. She is stupid and scared and in love. She is not a traitor. She confessed. She wouldn't, Elena, she shrieked. She knew her sister. She wouldn't understand the words. She would never say that. Her world tilted. The truth, it hit her. They lied, she gasped. He Valerius, he lied. Or they hurt her. She looked at Kaelen, her eyes wide with horror. They tortured my sister. They forced her to say it, and you let him. Kaelen's, his face, it drained of all color. He knew. He knew she was right. He knew Valerius was capable of that. And his own law, his own pride, it had trapped him. Elena, he breathed. His voice, it broke. He failed. He wasn't strong. He was weak, just like his father. The bond. It wasn't fire anymore. It was ice. Cold, sharp, agonizing ice. It filled her chest, her grief, his shame. It was drowning both of them. Elena, she curled up on the floor. She put her face in her hands. She's dead, she sobbed. A dry, hopeless sound. She's going to die at dawn. And it's all my fault. Kaelen, he slid down the wall. Opposite her, he put his head in his hands. He was the Alpha King. And he had lost. In the stillness that followed, there was no hope, there was no plan, there was nothing, just the cold and the dark and the sound of dawn approaching. Chapter 13. The dark. It was so cold. Elena, she was shaking. Not from the stone floor, from the inside. Dawn. The word, it echoed. Dawn, 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 Raya. Her fault. I should have let her run, she whispered to her knees. I should have run with her. Stupid. Across the room, she heard him. Kaelen, his breathing. It changed. It wasn't ragged anymore. It stopped. In the silence that followed, Elena, she looked up. He was standing. staring at her. His golden eyes, they weren't broken. They were narrow, burning. "What did you say?" he whispered. "I said I'm stupid." "No," he snapped. "Before that, what you called your sister." Elena, she frowned. Her thoughts, they were slow. "I said she was stupid and scared." "Scared," he repeated. His voice, it wasn't sad. It was cold. So cold. As if the world narrowed, he walked to the center of the room. "The law of judgment," he muttered, to himself. Article 4. "What are you doing?" Elena, she whispered. It's over." "It is not over," he snarled. He looked at her, and the king was back. No, not the king. The Alpha. "A confession," he stated, his voice hard as steel, "must be given freely, without duress, without the threat of pain." Her breath caught. "He tortured her, Elena." I know," she cried. "But how do we prove it? It's his word. Their word." Kaelen. He smiled. It was terrifying. "Because Valerius, he is arrogant. He thinks I am my father. He thinks I am weak. He wouldn't cover his tracks." Before she could move, there was a knock. Not a loud bang. A soft tap, tap, tap. Secret. Her world tilted. Kaelen, his head, it snapped to the door. He didn't shout. He walked. He opened it. A guard. Elena, she knew him. The one from the council room. The young one. Marcus. He was pale, terrified. He fell to his knees. "My king," he gasped. "Speak," Kaelen, he growled. "I cannot be silent," the guard, he rushed the words out. "My oath it is to you, to the crown, not to him." "To who?" "Lord Valerius," Marcus, he panted. "He ordered me to take them, the girl and Kaelen." Her heart, it stopped. "He told me to take them to the iron cells, not the holding pens, my king, the iron cells, they are, for interrogation." Elena, she felt sick. "He sent me away. He used his own men, Silver Crest Alphas, not the king's guard." This was it. This was the proof. "He broke the law." "Kaelen," he whispered. His voice, it was deadly. "He used unsanctioned guards. He ordered torture without a king's decree." As the truth unraveled, Kaelen, he looked at Elena. The ice in her chest, it cracked, and hot, furious hope, it bloomed. "He didn't just break the law." Kaelen, he smiled. That wolf smile. "He committed treason." Chapter 14. Treason. The word, it changed everything. "Get up," Kaelen, he said. He looked at Marcus. "You are a brave man. You will be my witness." "Yes, my king." "Elena," he snapped. He held out his hand. She looked at it. This was it. She didn't think. Her body moved on instinct. She took his hand. He pulled her up. Pain. It shot up her back, but it didn't matter. The fire in her chest, it was stronger. Her sister. What is the plan?" she asked. Her voice, it was strong. "The plan?" Kaelen, he laughed. A short, harsh sound. "There is no plan. There is only the law." He looked at her. His golden eyes, they burned. "He wants an execution at dawn," he growled. "He will get one." Her heart skipped. "We are not waiting for Valerius to wake up." He still held her hand. As the bond pulsed, it wasn't pain. It wasn't ice. It was power. His fury. Her fury. Mixed. One. "Marcus," Kaelen, he snapped. "Where is he?" "The council hall, my king. He is drinking, celebrating with his men." "Of course he is." Without another word, Kaelen, he strode to the door. He didn't let go of her. He pulled her with him. He tore the door open. The two guards, Valerius's guards, they were still there. They jumped up, they moved to block them. "The king is to remain," one started to say. Kaelen, he smiled. He didn't touch them. He let go. His alpha aura. It slammed into the hallway. Pressure, power, rage. The air thickened. The two guards, they choked. Their eyes, they went wide. They fell to their knees. They couldn't breathe. "You dare!" Kaelen, he whispered. His voice, it rattled the stones. "Give me an order in my own keep?" No, my king, one gasped. Kaelen, he walked past them, pulling Elena. Marcus, he scrambled after them. With every step he took, Elena, she felt stronger. Her back, it still hurt. But her wolf, it was standing tall. For the first time, they reached the Great Hall. Laughter. Loud, drunken laughter. Kaelen. He stopped. He looked at Elena. Are you ready? He whispered. She looked at him. Her king. Her mate. She saw the man under the rage. He was still, I'm afraid. Afraid of failing. Her hand, it squeezed his. They hurt my sister, she whispered, her voice deadly. Let's go show them what a real monster looks like. Kaelen's, his golden eyes, they blazed. He looked at the doors, and with one kick he sent them flying open. Chapter 15. Laughter. It died. In the span of a breath, Kaelen, Elena, and Marcus, they stood in the broken doorway. The hall, it was full, dozens of alphas. Valerius's men. They stared, their eyes wide, drunk, confused. Valerius, he was at the head of the table, a goblet in his hand. His smile, it froze. Then it twisted. Kaelen, he sneered. He stood up, slowly. You dare interrupt our celebration? The guards, they had orders. Your guards obeyed their king. Kaelen, he growled. His voice, it wasn't loud. It was deadly. Seize him! Valerius, he shouted at his men. He is unfit! He is mad! Seize your king! A dozen alphas, they moved. They drew their blades. Elena, her hand, it tightened on Kaelen's. Kaelen, he didn't move. He just smiled. And he let it go. His alpha aura. It wasn't pressure. It was a physical wall. Boom. The air, it cracked. The torches, they sputtered. The dozen alphas, they stopped. They gasped. They choked. As if the world narrowed, their blades, they clattered to the stone. Their knees buckled. They fell. All of them. Kneeling. Gagging. You dare. Kaelen, he whispered. The power, it rolled off him. Raise a hand to me. Valerius. His face, it was white. Pure shock. He looked at his men. Beaten. Without a touch. This was not his father. With every step he took, Kaelen, he walked forward, pulling Elena with him. He stopped right in front of Valerius. You like the law so much, old man. Kaelen, he purred. Let's talk about treason. I have done nothing, Valerius, he hissed. No? Kaelen. He smiled. Marcus. He stepped forward. He was shaking, but his voice, it was clear. Lord Valerius, he ordered the prisoners Raya and Kaeden to the iron cells, not the king's dungeons. A murmur went through the kneeling alphas. He used his own Silver Crest guard to move them. He circumvented the king's authority. Kaelen, he looked at Valerius. The iron cells, Kaelen, he whispered. They are, for one thing. Article 4. You cannot interrogate with pain without the king's decree. Valerius's, his eyes, they darted around. He was trapped. They were traitors, he screamed. They deserved it. You are weak. You let this Omega trash blind you. I am blind. Kaelen. He laughed. A cold, frightening sound. You broke the law. You moved against your king. You admitted to torture in front of witnesses. Kaelen, he leaned in. The penalty for that, Valerius. His voice, it dropped, is death. Before Valerius could even breathe, Kaelen's, his hand, it shot out. It wasn't a fist. It was claws. He grabbed Valerius by the throat. A sickening crack. Silence. Kaelen. He let go. Valerius, he didn't fall. He just slid to the floor. Dead. The silence, it roared. Kaelen. He stood there, panting. Then her hand. Elena's hand. It pulled on his arm. Kaelen, she gasped, tears in her eyes. Raya. Please, Raya. His eyes, they snapped to hers. The rage, it faded. He looked at the kneeling alphas. You, he snarled. You will take me to the iron cells. Now. Chapter 16. The iron cells. They smelled like fear and blood. Kaelen didn't wait. He kicked the door open. Raya! Elena, she shoved past him. The cell was dark. A small shape was huddled in the corner. No, please, a tiny voice whimpered. Raya! Elena, she ran, and she fell to her knees. It was her sister. She was curled up, bruises dark on her face. Her lip was split. In the other corner, Kaelen, he was slumped, unconscious, but breathing. Elena? Raya, she whispered. She looked up, her eyes wide and terrified. I'm sorry I tried to be brave like you, but they hurt Kaelen. They said they would kill him. I told them yes, I signed the paper, I'm sorry. Shh, Elena. She just held her, rocking her. It's okay, you're safe now, I got you, she cried. Tears of relief. They washed the blood off her sister's face. Behind her, Kaelen watched. His face, it was stone. He looked at the two of them. He looked at Kaelen. After a long moment, his voice, it was quiet. They did still break the law, he said. Elena's, her head, it snapped up. Fear, cold fear, lanced through her. Kaelen, no. The original crime, he continued. He looked at her. Running from the right, it demands a penalty. Please, she begged. He held up a hand. Banishment, he declared. Not death. 1 year. They will be sent to the southern border. They will work for the pack. They will learn what loyalty means. Elena, she stared. Then she sobbed. A new kind of sob. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. Kaelen, he nodded. Once. He looked at Marcus. Get a healer. Get them out of here. As he turned to leave Elena, she watched him go. Her king. Epilogue scene. Dawn. It was dawn. Elena, she stood by the window, in his chambers. The sky, it was painting itself pink and gold. She was clean. Her back, it wasn't burning. It itched. A promise of new skin. She heard him. Kaelen. He walked up behind her. He had washed the blood off his hands. He stood beside her. They watched the sun rise. You saved her, Elena, she whispered. No, Kaelen, he said, his voice low. We saved her. He turned. He looked at her. Your defiance, Elena. I thought it was treason, but it was truth. It showed me the real traitor. I almost got her killed, she whispered. You saved my crown, he answered. You saved me from becoming him. From becoming Valerius. The space between them, it burned. It wasn't fury. It wasn't pain. It was calm. I scarred you, he breathed. His guilt, it was still there. A deep ache. Yes, she said. She met his golden eyes. The marks, they will stay. A king's mark, he whispered. Not of shame, but of strength. Your strength. He lifted his hand. Slowly. He didn't grab. He cupped her face. His thumb, it brushed gently across her cheek. I am sorry, Elena. Her wolf, it purred. And I, she breathed, am your mate. And as the sun crested the mountain, she rose up, and she kissed him. It wasn't a kiss of hate or fear. It was dawn. It was a promise, the Alpha and his defiant mark. A new day.